Hey everyone, welcome back to RameyWorks 360. You know, there are some military memories nobody puts in recruitment videos, but every infantry guy remembers them instantly. Out at the National Training Center in the Mojave Desert, privacy didn't exist, and somehow pooping in a bag while sitting on an ammo crate became completely normal. So in this video, I'm recreating one of the dumbest, funniest, and most real memories my friend Chris and I had in the Army. These figures were actually modeled after Chris and I during our time in NTC, sitting on ammo crates, pants around the boots, just trying to survive another day in the box. I started the same way I usually do, black primer first, next I move on to the zenithal highlight from above. As you can see, that zenithal pass really helps establish the light and gives me a roadmap for the highlights before I even start painting. Now we move on to where these get that first touch of color. I'm going to be starting off with Iraqi Sand for the shirts. I wanted that faded, dusty field shirt look you get after days out in the desert. Nothing stays clean at NTC. Dust gets into everything. Your gear, your food, your sleeping bag, and definitely your underwear. As you can see, with these layers, I'm trying to go very thin. I want to be able to control the amount of color that goes onto these t-shirts and where the color goes most. Next, I use German camo beige for the pants. For the Multicam pants, I use my usual colors: Luftwaffe cam green, uniform green, a German camo pale brown, chocolate brown, and a little bit of cam black brown. I already have these colors from when I did Multicam before, so I'm just adding a little bit of water to each color. Now, the pants were a little interesting because technically they're Multicam, but since they're around the ankles with those folds and wrinkles, you really can't paint the pattern normally. Instead of forcing every shape into the fabric, I simplified the pattern and focused more on the color transitions. At this scale, sometimes suggestion works better than accuracy. Your brain tends to fill in the rest. That's one thing I've learned with miniature painting. Realism isn't always about painting every detail. It's about painting just enough detail to convince the eye. For my first layer of skin tone, I start with burnt red. Then I layered in brown sand over the top using thin glazes. That warm reddish undertone underneath keeps the skin from looking flat or chalky. Especially with military figures, I like skin to look sunburned, dusty, and tired, because honestly, most of us were. Chris's skin tone took a little more experimentation. For his mix, I used about 70% burnt umber, 20% pale brown, and 10% burnt red, and then mixed them all together. Then, I glazed it on slowly, so I could control how dark the tone became and where the highlights stayed. Honestly, looking at reference photos of him, I think I nailed it. And that's something I really enjoy about painting figures based on real people. You're not just painting another model, you're recreating somebody. Now, for those of you who have never been to NTC, let me explain why this ridiculous scene even existed. Out there in the Mojave Desert, we weren't allowed to just dig a hole and bury our poop. Supposedly there's a desert tortoise out there that can stumble across it, eat it, dehydrate, and die. So instead, the Army's solution was to hand us a little black bag and say, figure it out. The problem is, NTC is huge, wide open desert, no trees, no privacy, so eventually you stop caring. Guys would literally walk out into the open, drop their pants in front of everybody, and handle that business. Eventually someone got the idea to use an ammo crate. It's one thing I miss about the Army sometimes. The misery sucked while you were there, but later those same moments became the stories everybody laughs about today. Serve together, suffer together, poop together. That's real friendship right there. Now, for the ammo crates, I used tan earth. I thought it was a really great color for the ammo boxes. This might honestly be one of the weirdest projects I've painted so far, but also one of the most personal. Not because it's tactical, not because it's serious, but because it captures a real moment. And honestly, sometimes the funniest memories are the ones you remember forever. If you enjoyed this build, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what military memory I should recreate. Thanks for watching.